There are many major parts to your brain. When slicing the brain in half, many of these structures are revealed. Your cerebellum provides precise timing for muscle activity and controls balance and our equilibrium. The epithalamus houses the pineal gland and regulates sleep-wake cycles. Your pineal gland releases melatonin, which is the hormone that makes you sleepy. There are 3 structures that make up your brainstem. The first is your midbrain. The midbrain is the reflex center involved with vision and hearing. This processes information from both of the temporal lobes and the occipital lobe. The second is the pons. The pons is the major controller for breathing. Last, your medulla. The medulla oblongata controls heart rate, blood pressure, swallowing, and vomiting. The diencephalon is made up of 2 structures. The first structure is the thalamus, formerly known as Hal and Amos. Hal and Amos direct signals in the brain. The thalamus is the relay center for sensory impulses. The second structure is the hypothalamus. This structure regulates body temperature, thirst, hunger, and metabolism. A helpful acronym to use to remember the hypothalamus's functions is hypothalamus. To continue with major structures, the pituitary gland is considered the master gland. This gland senses the body's needs and sends signals to different organs and glands throughout the body to regulate their function. The corpus callosum connects the 2 cerebral hemispheres and is about 4 inches long. Thousands of nerve fibers disperse from this link to the white matter of the brain. Using the acronym CALSIMON will help you to remember and distinguish the corpus callosum from any other brain structure.
White matter is a main component of the central nervous system. White matter is made up of glial cells and myelinated axons that transmit signals from one region of the cerebrum to another. Gray matter is primarily associated with processing and cognition, while white matter distributes action potentials to different parts of the brain. Gray matter is found on the inside of the spinal cord, while white matter is found on the outside of the spinal cord, and the opposite for the brain. Gray matter is on the outside of the brain, and white matter is on the inside of the brain.
There are 4 lobes of the brain. The frontal is located in the anterior part of the brain, and it plays a large role in voluntary movement. It also plays an important role in retaining long-term memories. The parietal lobe is located in the superior part of the brain. It plays an important role integrating sensory information from various parts of the body. It is also a sensory area for pain, cold, and touch. The occipital lobe is located in the posterior part of the brain. It is a visual processing center. The temporal lobe is located in the lateral part of the brain. It contains the hippocampus and plays a big role in the formation of long-term memory, modulated by the amygdala. It is also involved in primary auditory perception such as hearing.
The spinal cord is made of a bundle of nerves running down the middle of the backbone. The spinal cord has 2 major functions: to control the conscious and non-conscious reflexes and to send signals to and from the brain. The spinal cord can work independently of the brain, sending out responses to the muscles in the peripheral nervous system directly. Surprisingly, the spinal cord is only 1 centimeter thick and stops growing at age 5. The spinal cord is divided into 31 different segments. The spinal cord is protected by the vertebral column where the nerves enter and exit from other parts of the body. The nerves that enter the spinal cord on the dorsal side carry sensory information are called afferent nerves. These afferent nerves allow a person to determine if the pan on the stove is hot or cold, or if the sandpaper is rough or smooth. The nerves that exit the ventral surface carry information from the spinal cord to the rest of the body. For example, these nerves enable a person to jerk his hand away from a hot pan or throw a ball, known as efferent nerves.
A reflex arc is a neural pathway that controls a reflex action. There are two types of reflex arc. The first is the somatic, which affects the muscles. The second is the autonomic, which affects the inner organs. There are 5 steps in the neural pathway. The first is the receptor, then the sensory neuron, integration center, motor neuron, and last, the effector. This characteristic allows reflex actions to occur relatively quickly by activating spinal motor neurons without the delay of routing signals through the brain. Analysis of the signal takes place after action has been taken. It is the pathway followed by sensory nerve and carrying the sensation from receptor organ to spinal cord, and then the pathway followed by motor nerve and carrying the order from spinal cord to effector organ during a reflex action.